Alright, this is Kevin Rodal. I am currently an intern at Logos Software, or Bible Software, and this summer I've been working on their library manager, which is a resource metadata me editing tool. It was created alongside Logos 4 as a way to edit the metadata that went along with all of their resources. Prior to that, all of the data was baked into the actual file itself. So if a file's metadata had to be updated, then they had to essentially re-download the entire file to get the changes. So with the introduction of Logos 4, Library Manager allowed it so only the metadata changes were downloaded from the server, making it quicker and easier to download these changes. So I'm changing from the original being a Silverlight application to a .NET MVC4 application. And here we are on the main page. We have just a simple sign in. So I'll go ahead and log in. And now we are on the main page. So here you can see we have our title bar. We have a couple options for how to view the data and just a little icon showing who is currently signed in. And so we're going to start by actually adding a resource. And so from the adding resources page, you can either add a collection of resources, which you cannot enter resource ID because a GUID, or globally unique identifier, is generated for each individual collection. But for a resource, you can specify what the resource ID is called. So I will call this demo test book. It will be called the best demo ever, and it will be in English. So now we'll go ahead and we'll add that resource. And it brings us to the resource editing page. As you can see, we also have, we can view the details, we can edit it, or we can view the history, and we'll look at those in a minute. So on the side, we have a quick little table of contents. It allows us to jump around from section to section really quickly, and it will highlight the one that you jump to. The reason that this was put in was because sometimes there can be a list of a ton of subjects or a very large amount of traits, so jumping down to a specific section was a very big, important thing to do. And so we can see that the title was generated, and a couple of other things were auto set: draft, the version, the owner, the creator. And now we can go in and also add in some other things. So let's just say our name is John. We have an autocomplete to show using the author service to show all of the authors that are recorded in Logos' system. But I'm actually going to put my name because I'm the one doing this. If I can spell my name. And we can also give it a language, which we are doing it in English, and say there's also a Spanish version. The same also goes with publishers. If you start typing, it will also give you a list of publishers. My favorite publisher, though, is Monsters, Inc., just because I like Pixar. So, we can keep going. We'll add a trait that says demo, and I just submitted it on accident. But here we are. You can see that all of the changes were applied. We have our trait demo. We have our titles and languages. So all of our stuff was saved. We're good. And if we actually want to look at the saving, we can go to the history page, and we can see that, okay, I added an author, 2 languages, a publisher, and a trait, which is awesome. And you can see that also the table of contents is on this page, and most recent version of the files that are associated with this resource will show up in here, showing the version and then the version of that file and then the version of the most recent update. So now we can go over to the search page and say we want to search, we can use one of the special searches. So we want to search for an author who has Rodal in his name. And oh look, I have 2 books. So there's just one way to search. Or we can search for test book, which will get a few more. And so now say we want to make this one and this one and this one all have me as their author. So we can do that a few ways. We can click and hold Control and click the ones we want, or we can do the hold Shift and click all the ones. Or we can't do that. Never mind. I learn something new every day. You have to hold Control and click, or the other thing is lasso. You can lasso all of them. Once you lasso the ones you want, you then have the ability to edit all of those, export all of those in a CSV file, which we can take a look at that. So click Export. Our CSV file pops up. And there are all of our resources and their metadata that goes along with each of them. And we can also compare. First, we'll start by editing, giving all of them the name of the author of me. So they're auto-populated with, it gets the distinct list of every author, every publisher. It gets a distinct list of all of the resources combined. So as you can see down here, we have 1, 2, 3, demo, tester, and testing. So demo came from the one we just made. 1, 2, 3, tester, and testing came from another book that I've been using. So these will not update unless they have been changed. So say we want to add John Adams. We add it. Now that there is an orange marker next to it, we know that that one will be updated. So let's just remove him. It still has the updated marker because something has changed. We will remove Our Hope. We will set all of them to draft, and we will remove tester. So now we can go save, and it'll run, and we come back and see that all of the things that we just changed are now the distinct of all of the resources. So if we went and looked at demo test book that we just created again, we can see that it now has 1, 2, 3, demo, and testing as its traits. Going back, we can search for those again. Test book. Lasso them all together. And we see that all of them have me as their author. And we can compare. So on the compare screen, we have the ability to, in a chart, look at any of these metadata traits. So we can check the author. And look, all of them are me. However, let's check the version. They all have a little bit of a different version because you have to manually update each of the versions for the version to actually update. That's why there's a update version button on each of them, because sometimes you want to make a change, but you don't want it to, you want to make a little metadata change, but you don't want to update the version. So that's a manual task. Okay, moving on, we will look at a collection as opposed to a single resource. So we will look at a retired resource, and we see that this one has extra fields. It has the collection data in the table of contents, which shows is it licensed and what resources which resources does it have, and it will list all of the resources that are in that collection. You can select all of them and export or compare the same thing from the search page. You also are able to lasso, control click, etc. Same as the search page. And one of the last things is we have the ability to enter a comma or new line separated list of resource IDs. So let me just grab from here real quick. Here's a new line separated list of resource IDs. And there we go. They all popped up in the search, and now we're able to select all of them and do whatever we want. The reason that this is important is because the people working in electronic text development sometimes just get a list of resources, so they need to be able to go in and just copy and paste that list of resources directly in to get those resources. That's about it. We have a little RSS feed icon that will take you to the RSS feed, and the drop down that will allow you to sign out. And so that is the library manager I've been working on for this summer.